dear learners, we welcome you again in week 3 of our course Child Growth and Development, and lecture 15 is Development of Handedness, Development of Leg Skills, Key Contributions of Motor Development, Insight further from the teachers and parents. We are going to cover the development of handedness, that is use of right hand and left hand, development of leg skills and contributions to physical health and functional competence. Development of handedness. Handedness refers to an individual's consistent preference and superior proficiency in using one hand over the other for performing tasks such as writing, throwing, or eating. Handedness is not fixed at birth. Rather, it gradually emerges as infants experiment with both hands during early motor development. How does handedness emerge over time? Harlock describes early hand preference as something that can appear and shift rather than arriving suddenly. She notes, modest preference can be seen as early as around 8 months. Shifting may continue through the second year. Later patterns move toward more consistent preference in the preschool years. Feldman adds that by about age 5, most children show a clear hand preference, and he reports a broad population estimate about 90% right-handed and 10% left-handed. A critical educational point: don't force switching. Few researchers explicitly warns that forcing a child to switch handedness may create difficulties. It even mentions problems such as stuttering and emphasizes that left-handedness is not connected to lower intelligence. You should provide tools that work for both left and right-handed children. Position notebooks and scissors appropriately. Avoid labeling left-handed as wrong. Early developmental trends. Infants are initially ambidextrous, showing no clear preference for either hand during the first months of life. Around 8 months, children begin to display a slight inclination toward using one hand, most commonly the right, although hand switching is frequent and largely influenced by task and object position. During the second year, hand shifts continue, but by 2.5 to 3.5 years, many children show bilaterality, using both hands nearly equally. That's why we are saying ambidextrous. Brain structure and function links. Neuroimaging genetic studies show association between handedness and brain asymmetries, especially language-related regions and white matter tracts, suggesting shared neurodevelopmental pathways. From 4 to 6 years, unilateral preference becomes more stable. When children enter school, they are typically either right-handed or left-handed, with true ambidexterity being rare. Importantly, she emphasizes that children, adolescents, and adults can still acquire skills with either hand if motivated, without emotional disturbance. Right-handedness and cultural conditioning. In most cultures, rather majority of cultures, a majority of individuals, about 90 to 95%, are right-handed. This pattern, she argues, is shaped not by biological tendencies but also by training and social expectations. Historically, left-handed children were often encouraged to use the right hand for tasks like writing, which increased mixed-handedness among left-handers. Dominant and auxiliary hand roles. Most activities require one dominant hand, with the other acting as an auxiliary or helper. For example, in writing, the dominant hand holds the pencil while the auxiliary hand steadies the paper. Establishing a dominant hand fosters greater stability, confidence, and mastery, allowing children to refine complex fine motor skills. Heredity versus environmental influences. Contrary to the traditional belief that handedness is innate, training and environmental conditioning play a major role in determining which hand becomes dominant. Early experiences, parental attitudes, and cultural norms heavily shape hand preference. Handedness develops through a gradual interaction of maturation, experience, and cultural pressures rather than being predetermined at birth. As children grow, increasing consistency in hand use supports motor skill refinement, confidence, and later academic tasks such as writing. Now we will see development of leg skills. Leg skill development is a fundamental component of motor development, enabling children to achieve mobility, balance, coordination, and independence in their physical environment. Leg skills involve the progressive acquisition of abilities such as kicking, running, climbing, jumping, hopping, and balancing movements that require complex interactions among muscular strength, neural maturation, sensory integration, and environmental opportunities. Research shows that leg skill development follows a predictable sequence but varies in rate depending on biological and environmental factors. Early foundations of leg skills. The foundation for leg skill development begins during infancy, when infants start producing reflexive leg movements such as stepping reflexes. As the nervous system matures, these reflexive actions transition into voluntary control, enabling infants to bear weight on their legs and engage in transition into voluntary control, enabling infants to bear weight on their legs and engage in supported standing. By around 9 to 12 months, infants typically learn to stand independently and take their first steps. Walking emerges from the dynamic interplay of strength, balance, motivation, and practice rather than a simple maturation mechanism. Progression in toddlerhood and early childhood. During toddlerhood, children rapidly acquire basic locomotor skills using their legs. Walking becomes more stable and children begin to run, though early running is characterized by short steps, limited flight phase, and poor balance. As coordination improves, children demonstrate longer strides, better arm-leg coordination, and increased speed. Improvements in balance and neuromuscular control significantly enhance these skills. By age of 2 to 3 years, children begin to jump off low surfaces, climb stairs with support, and kick stationary objects. Kicking develops as toddlers coordinate leg swing with trunk stability. This skill is an early marker of motor planning and bilateral coordination. Early exposure to play environments improves the efficiency and accuracy of such movements. Development of advanced leg skills. Between ages 4 and 6, children refine motor complex leg skills, including hopping, skipping, leaping, and climbing without support. These skills require substantial muscle strength, postural control, and dynamic balance. For instance, hopping on one leg demands the integration of proprioceptive feedback and rapid muscle adjustments to maintain stability. Children who engage in structured physical activities show superior development of these locomotor skills compared to those with limited opportunities. During middle childhood, from 6 to 10 years, leg skills become more efficient and well coordinated. Children develop improved agility, speed, and balance, enabling participation in sports, dance, and playground games. Their ability to change direction quickly, stop abruptly, or accelerate depends on continued neuromuscular development and practice. What are the factors which influence leg skill development? Let's see these factors. Biological maturation, neural myelination, muscle growth, and sensory system development support improved balance and coordination. Environmental opportunities, access to open spaces, playgrounds, and active play fosters practice and skill refinement. Parental and teacher support, encouragement and participation in active play enhance motivation and skill acquisition. Cultural practices of a particular culture, societies emphasizing outdoor play and physical education demonstrate faster motor skill gains among children. The development of leg skills is a dynamic and gradual process shaped by both maturation and environmental experiences. Early leg movements lay the foundation for complex locomotor abilities, and continuous practice enables children to achieve greater speed, balance, agility, and coordination. Research consistently highlights the importance of providing enriched environments and structured motor activities to support optimal leg skill development throughout the childhood. Dear learners, motor development involves the gradual acquisition of gross and fine motor skills shaped by biological maturation, physical activity, learning experiences, and socio-cultural context. Teachers observe motor development in terms of school readiness, handwriting skills, classroom participation, and overall academic performance, while parents view it through daily activities such as dressing, feeding, play, and independence at home. Together, their perspectives highlight that strong motor skills enhance confidence, learning potential, social interaction, and long-term developmental outcomes. What are the contributions to physical health and functional competence? Both teachers and parents agree that motor development is essential for building physical strength, endurance, and overall health of the child. The growth of muscles, bones, and the nervous system enables children to engage in everyday activities such as running, jumping, climbing, writing, or their self-care. Improvements in motor coordination also reduce the risk of injuries and promote healthy lifestyles. Parents often notice that children with well-developed gross motor skills show better participation in outdoor play, sports, and physical activities. Such participation supports healthy body composition, cardiovascular fitness, and muscular development. Teachers observe that children with strong motor skills show fewer difficulties in managing school routines such as carrying bags, participating in physical education, and transitioning between activities from one activity to another activity. Motor development has a reciprocal relationship with physical growth. Movement stimulates growth, while growth enhances movement proficiency. Parents also remark that balanced motor development helps children develop independence, such as tying their shoelaces, dressing at their own, feeding themselves, or handling the tools. These self-help skills form the basis of functional competence, which in turn enhances children's confidence. Now we will see the foundation for cognitive development and school readiness. Teachers consistently highlight that motor skills contribute significantly to cognitive development. Motor activities stimulate brain regions involved in perception, attention, memory, and executive functions. As Jean Piaget emphasized, early childhood cognitive development is strongly rooted in sensory motor interactions with the environment. Children learn by doing, exploring objects and space physically in order to construct knowledge. Fine motor skills such as grasping, manipulating objects, drawing, and writing help develop visual spatial awareness, eye-hand coordination, and problem-solving abilities. Teachers observe that children who struggle with fine motor control may find difficulties in writing, drawing, cutting, and completing workbook tasks, which directly affects academic performance. Parents also report frustration in children who struggle to use utensils, assemble puzzles, or manage small objects. Connection between motor proficiency and academic skills. Motor skills predict future achievement in mathematics and reading in early primary grades. Motor coordination is linked with lower working memory and attention. Teachers emphasize the role of motor experiences in concept formation. Activities like building blocks teach shapes and patterns. Movement direction support spatial concepts, up, down, left, right, and physical games reinforce counting, sequencing, and memory. Enhancement of social competence and peer interaction. Both teachers and parents observe that motor development plays a major role in how children interact with peers. Children with proficient motor skills tend to participate more actively in group play, sports, cooperative games, and outdoor activities. These social interactions help them develop communication skills, cooperation, conflict resolution, and leadership qualities. Teachers also note that motor skills competence often determines children's social acceptance at school, especially during early childhood and primary years. Children who struggle with balance, running, or coordination may be excluded from group games, leading to social withdrawal. The motor abilities influence children's social status because peer groups often value physical competence during play. Parents also share that children who excel in physical activities tend to be more confident in neighborhoods, playgrounds, and social gatherings. Participation in sports teaches discipline, teamwork, and respect for rules, qualities that are very essential for social development of the child. Conversely, children with motor impairments may experience bullying or social challenges. Teachers thus highlight the importance of early identification and supportive interventions to ensure that all children feel included in social activities. Contribution to What are the contribution to emotional development and self-esteem? Motor development significantly impacts children's emotional well-being as well. Parents observe that mastery of motor tasks such as riding a bicycle independently, skipping the rope, drawing neatly, or participating in sports gives children a sense of achievement, a sense of satisfaction. They can do this particular task independently. This feeling enhances self-esteem and it motivates them to attempt more challenging tasks. Motor achievements contribute to positive self-concept because success in physical skills is visible, socially recognized, and it is personally rewarding. Children often compare themselves with peers, and motor abilities become a basis for feelings of competence. Teachers add that active play and physical movement help children regulate emotions, reduce classroom stress, and improve mood. Movement breaks and physical activities have been shown to enhance attention, it reduces anxiety, and support emotional regulation. Children with delayed motor development may exhibit frustration, avoidance of tasks, or dependency on adults. Teachers and parents, they jointly emphasize the need for encouragement, scaffolding wherever they want certain help or cues or platform for imitation. Parents and teachers should do that, and positive reinforcement to foster emotional resilience. Now we will see development of independence and daily living skills because of the motor development. Parents strongly emphasize that motor development underpins independence in daily activities. Fine motor skills enable children to perform tasks such as buttoning shirts, tying laces, brushing teeth, opening containers, as well as closing the containers or manipulating stationery. Gross motor skills facilitate the mobility and participation in day-to-day routines. Teachers reinforce this perspective by pointing out that independent children adjust better to school environments. They need less assistance from teachers, manage classroom materials efficiently by their own, and demonstrate better organization skills. Independently fosters emotional maturity, while mastery of motor tasks enhances problem solving abilities. Parents often observe that children who acquire self help skills early exhibit stronger decision making and practical reasoning in later years. Now we will see motor development, how it is a basis for lifelong habits and healthy behaviors. Parents and teachers concur that early motor experiences shape lifelong habits. Children who enjoy active play during childhood are more likely to develop regular exercise routines, participate in sports, and maintain healthier lifestyles in adulthood. Teachers observe that children who are physically active show better concentration, on task behavior, and reduced behavioral problems in class. Parents highlight that consistent motor engagement reduces screen time, encouraging children to explore more productive activities. Early exposure to movement-rich environments like in parks, sports clubs, dance classes builds preferences for active living. Motor development also supports risk management and safety awareness. As children develop balance, coordination, and strength, they learn to judge distances, negotiate obstacles, and respond to environmental challenges safely. What are the cultural and environmental influences? Again, we will see the insights from parents and teachers. Teachers point out that the school environment, curriculum, which includes their syllabus and textbooks, and teaching practices greatly shape motor development. Structured physical education, free play, dance, yoga, and classroom movement activities enrich motor learning. Parents highlight the role of home environment, availability of space, availability of the toys at that particular age, opportunities for outdoor play, and family attitudes toward physical activities. There are families who prefer more academics rather than physical activities. Social cultural factors also influence motor expectations. For instance, parents in rural areas often report that children naturally develop motor skills through daily activities such as running, climbing trees, or participating in household chores. Teachers observe that urban children may need more structured opportunities due to limited outdoor spaces. Motor development is deeply shaped by cultural norms, parental practices, and environmental affordances. Now we will see how this early identification of developmental delays. First, you need to identify the developmental delays and then proper intervention strategies. Teachers emphasize that observing motor development and the milestones in motor development helps in identifying developmental disorders such as developmental coordination disorder, cerebral palsy, or dyspraxia. Parents often are the first to notice delays in sitting, crawling, walking, grasping, or manipulating objects. Early identification allows timely intervention, as now the brain cells or neurons, they are plastic, they are elastic. When you intervene, then child is able to do those activities. If the age passes on and the plasticity reduced, then it will be difficult to attain those skills. So this early identification, it allows timely intervention through physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and adapted physical education. Teachers believe that comprehensive motor assessments support differentiated instruction, particular for that child only, and individualized support for children who need additional help. Motor delays are often predictive of later difficulties in academic, emotional, and social domains. Thus, teacher-parent collaboration is essential for early diagnosis and support. Insights from teachers and parents show that motor development contributes significantly to children's holistic growth. It forms the foundation for physical health, cognitive development, social competence, emotional stability, independence, and lifelong healthy habits. Teachers observe motor development mainly through the lens of school readiness and classroom performance of the child, while parents relate it to everyday functioning, confidence of the child, and how independently the child is doing his or her daily living tasks. There are certain references, you can refer these for your further studies. Thank you and happy learning.